Hello everyone, this is Squirtle giving you now another game, Parting versus Squirtle. This is the third game I'm casting today. If you guys are following me live, if you guys are not following me live, go ahead and subscribe to me. I will constantly be producing just gaming content in general, Hearthstone, Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2, and Hex TCG when it finally does come out. Really looking forward to the landscape and this new age of gaming that we're seeing. We see the standard box games, StarCraft, Warcraft 3 doing very well, but then also the freemium games, such as Hearthstone and Hex. Both of them are going to be very, very good games for different styles of players, and hopefully you'll come to me for more content. Anyways, Parting on the bottom right hand side as the blue Protoss, meanwhile Squirtle as the red Protoss on the top right. Now, one of the reasons why I am casting this particular game is I haven't got to cast a lot of high level PvPs in quite some time. As much as this is going to be entertainment for you, this is also a bit of a learning curve for me, looking at how the game and the metagame has developed. So far, we see both of these players building very similar build orders, and in the past, PvP really didn't get interesting until players started to deviate from each other. If one player went for a particular strategy and the other player went for the same strategy as well, it always came down to a straight up micro battle. Whoever was able to micro better would win. Now, when you start actually having different outcomes, say robotics facility versus a Twilight Council, or a Twilight Council versus a Stargate, there were times when a strategy would, oh, did he actually spot his opponent? Oh my goodness, Squirtle went all the way inside his opponent's base, went up to the very, very edge, and did not scout his opponent. That was huge. Squirtle is now going to be looking around the map for quite some time, and what's funny about this is that Parting also did something very similar. It looks as though if Parting did not build towards, if the Protoss player didn't build towards the exit, then he wouldn't have been scouted either. Both of these players playing very, just trying to straight up scout and not knowing where the other player is. Parting now looking to go for a proxy stargate, what appears. And what is funny about this is that Squirtle has absolutely no idea where his opponent has spawned. Let's take a look at this. He's come inside, taking a look around here. It's like, okay, I've checked the bottom right-hand side. I don't see anything. I checked the bottom left-hand side. I don't see anything. That must mean he's in the top left-hand side. No, that is not going to be the case. You can see now, what was that? The quickest way to lose 37 minerals. I believe the probe had actually gotten stuck in there, as the probe now wandering around. The probe going to look and try and find his opponent. The two probes are going to pass each other here. The probe coming down the ramp. This probe now going up the ramp. And let's take a look at this. The Squirtle now looking, actually going to accidentally spot the proxy Stargate. This is a huge, huge play as well, as Squirtle is now going to be out a lot of resources. This is just the worst possible outcome for Parting, and Parting is committing to this fight. You can see now a second pylon now coming in. Squirtle does spot this. He sees that there is that second pylon, and this Stargate will stay powered for at least a little while. Are we going to perhaps go into a Void Rays? No, it is going to be into an Oracle, and it looks like that Oracle will get stuck in there for a little bit of time, as this now pylon coming into play. The probe tries to warp in another pylon. He is going to get it. Now going after this particular pylon as well. This is just so crazy. Parting really committing to this fight, and the only thing that really is just telling about this particular story, well, Parting actually has a little bit more hit points on that Stalker. He's going to be able to come out ahead. It looks as though, yes, the Oracle is going to be able to come in here as well. As we can see, two Stalkers now going to just make its way inside the base. There was already two Stalkers here waiting to meet and greet. And what's funny about this is that Squirtle now going to check the top left-hand side of the map, thinking that his opponent is there, and he is not there. And now Squirtle is completely confused as to what is going on here. Parting has not done any damage whatsoever. Proxy pylon to the south, and it really looks like Squirtle, with a misread, is completely in the wrong position. All right, we do see Stalkers over here. We don't see any additional things being trained over here by the Stargate, And this is just making my head scratch as to what the players will be going for. Squirtle going to finish off Parting's double pylon Proxy Stargate, as now the Oracle looks to come inside, and now in comes some damage. There's 2 probes quickly taken down, and now this Oracle will be backing off. That Pulsar Beam has been deactivated as the Mothership Core adding in just a little bit of damage. I am surprised though, a Void Ray would quickly take down this Mothership Core and neutralize the effect, saving the pylon and keeping the pressure off over here. But no, Squirtle now still coming over, gonna finish off this pylon. It looks like this Stargate is not going to train up any more units. You can see that there is no light inside that Stargate, and with that, perhaps Squirtle believes that he is fine. Let's take a look at this. Oh, the Oracle has gotten in another 6 kills, down to 20 hit points now, staying on the very, very far edge, and all this Mothership Core needs to do is come position itself right over the top of the Nexus. If that Oracle gets a little bit greedy, one activation of that Photon Overcharge and that Oracle will be gone. Nexus has been completed by Parting, just got done. Meanwhile, Squirtle just now setting up his natural expansion, and both of these players have put themselves in a very strange position. Let's take a look at the army, 21 to 18. Parting having a little bit of an edge there. We do see an Immortal and a Sentry on the ramp. Stalkers may try to test this, and there we go. What is going to be going? There is the Photon Overcharge, as the Stalkers are now taking a fair bit of damage. They cannot afford to take this, as Squirtle realizes, wait, no, I cannot go up a Photon Overcharge and 2 Immortals at the same time. If I try to blink forward, the Photon Overcharge will just deal more damage. Otherwise, I cannot really get a good surround on those Immortals, and we are pretty much at an impasse now. Both players having a lot of damage but unable to destroy each other. Oh, the Stalkers may try to blink up onto that high ground. 2 of them were able to blink up. The other 2 were not. Squirtle needs to retime this and perhaps wait a little while longer. You can see that the units are now making their way back over. Photon Overcharge, I believe, was used again. Yes, it was, as these Stalkers now pull back here. 1 Immortal in position to defend. And with this, both of these armies rather large but unable to do anything else. We can see that the Squirtle is now making his way in to try and put pressure at this natural expansion. The Immortal needs to get in some easy shots there, and you can see that the Immortal is doing exactly what it should be, absorbing some of that Stalker fire, reducing it down to 10 before firing off a blast of his own. That Immortal does deal 50 damage per attack to those Stalkers. Those Stalkers would melt in a moment. Now, you can see that there is an Oracle off over here, still sitting at 6 kills. Hasn't been able to do very much of anything. Mothership Core now nearby. And this Oracle is just playing a game of essentially cat and mouse. What we could have is Envision here, an Envision or a Revelation onto all of these units to at least get a little bit of scouting as to what's going on. Squirtle now looking to go into air toss with double Stargate, as the Oracle is able to slip out. Proxy Pylon placed in the center portion of the map. Probe still hiding off over here. Squirtle having a Proxy Pylon of his own, as the Oracle taken down by Squirtle's Stalkers at the natural expansion. Both sides, let's take a look at the Harvester count, 46 to 42. We are very even at this point. You can see 4 Immortals for Parting versus 2 Phoenixes for Squirtle, but there is also a 10 Stalker difference. That is a major, major difference there, especially considering that we have Blink on these Stalkers. Blink, very, very important for that high mobility and the ability to just charge on in and take down those Immortals. So far, Probe still wandering around. Oh, a little bit of damage there. Feedback onto one of the Phoenixes. He's not going to be able to Graviton Beam, as we are now looking at the Phoenixes doing a little bit of a dance there to each other. I'm sorry, it's just an illusion, as those Phoenixes are still dancing off to the north. Coming back around, Squirtle sitting on 2 bases with the force supply advantage. Immortals, 4 of them, 2 Archons now ready to go, and we may be seeing an engagement here. Archons extremely effective at dealing with Stalkers because of that high shield count and the fact that they are not armored. since they are not armored, they do not absorb that, or they don't take that much damage from a Stalker. As we see, Zealots now coming in for a little bit of a pick there. Stalkers could easily just focus down, get one shot off, and then blink away. The Archons have to be aware of that. They cannot just freely try to exchange blows. There is going to be a bit of a game of cat and mouse to use that range, come in with that micro, come off with a very, very focused attack, and then back away, hoping that the Immortal didn't get past the shields of that Stalker. We are now 14 minutes into this game, and Squirtle and Parting, both of them, have been feeling each other out. It's like the first round of a boxing match. Both of them throwing light jabs, really nothing to actually destroy their opponent, not committing to any serious fight there. Parting losing a couple of Zealots here, but this is all a little bit timed. He knows that he can get his units over here, and what's more important was that the Nexus wasn't cancelled. As Squirtle spots the Nexus, he says, you know what, I need to make sure I don't fall behind economically, and he sets up a Nexus of his own. The problem is that Squirtle is currently 9 workers behind, and being behind 9 workers at this point means that you cannot saturate that third base as quickly, and anytime you are mining less than your opponent, you either need to make it so that your opponent mines less, or you need to have a large enough army to just flat out wipe him off the board. We've seen that a couple of times as the Immortals are now making a bit of a move. All right, there goes some units. All right, the Archon absorbing a bit too much damage. There's that charge coming in as the Zealots make it off. Another easy shot there. Still continuing this chase. The Zealots trying to get some Stalkers down. You can see that the Stalkers are falling, at least some of them are, as the Archons are going to be absorbing a bit too much damage. There goes one. And I don't believe that was a good trade. If the Archon survived, I would have said that was a very, very good trade by Squirtle, by Parting. But because the Archon was lost, it actually was a little bit more worse for wear, so to speak, as we are looking at a fleet beacon and another Stargate. The Stargate at the 12 o'clock position will be cleared up here in just a moment. Meanwhile, Parting hiding an observer in plain sight right in front of the base, as Squirtle has now gone into 4 Colossi. Oh, 4 Colossi, so effective. You can see Parting now desperately going into, I believe, Tempests. You can see the Tempest now coming in as the Stalkers have arrived here. What are the Tempests good for? They are especially good against Colossus because Colossus are technically massive air units. That means that they do take that additional damage here as the Stalkers have arrived. You can see that the Stalkers are just simply coming on in here as the one Tempest is trying to fight this all back. Zealots now coming in as well. This is not a good fight to be in for Parting. I mean, he is absorbing a lot more damage on that Tempest than he would care to, as the Tempest now backs away. Observer keeping track of all of the Zealots now in the center. You can see one Tempest being trained. Another Tempest could be started up in just a moment. No additional range on that attack there. The Tempest very effective against massive air units, which is what we should be seeing in just a moment. And Squirtle has brought over 2 Phoenixes to take down a couple of units. All right, there's some easy attacks. Are we going to get another shot off? Oh, some very, very big, massive explosions. But the Phoenixes, being the small, nimble, agile air-to-air superiority fighters, dodge much of that damage, so to speak, and only take 40. Let's take a look at this. Zealots now clearing out the positions here, making sure no proxy pylons, no sneak buys are going to be coming in. We are still about even in supply. However, worker count higher for Squirtle, 71 to 60. Parting losing a fair number of workers in this last engagement down over here. Now being forced to retrain up, or should be retraining up a couple of those workers, as he is now looking to take his 4th. All right. Poor Zealots walking straight into a battle, getting destroyed, sent back to Shakuris, I believe, in terms of lore, as the Zealots, Immortals, and Colossus are all now ready to go. Let's take a look at this. This is a massive Immortal army. Immortals very powerful with that 2-0 upgrades, and they also take reduced damage from those Colossus, but fortunately for Squirtle, the Colossus does have a double attack, so they will still be dealing 20 damage per swipe against all of those Immortals. Now, Parting also bringing in a squadron of Tempest, the air superiority unit is so strong, such a strong range, as we're now looking at apparently a fight back over here. In comes the battle. The Archons were trying to pressure forth. Is it going to work? You can see that there is the hallucinated Phoenix, gets quickly taken down, and now in comes a very large attack of Tempest. Tempest could try to get in an engagement here. However, the other Tempests are now looking to come in on that engagement as well. What are we going to be seeing? There is some time warps now thrown down as both sides fighting. All right, it looks as though the Colossus will get taken down. The time warps are causing those Colossus to move relatively slowly, but the Tempests are going after the Colossus while the other Tempests are going after the ground units. That is not what you want to be seeing. And Squirtle not focusing down with those Tempests to take down the Tempest, essentially just had really no damage in that fight. The Colossus now being brought forward. It looks like, oh, Colossus almost taken down there. We do not have any weapons upgrades on those Tempests, as Parting going to be adding more. All right, let's take a look. Parting now making his way over with those Tempests, perhaps to the 12 o'clock position. One Warp Prism was able to sneak in, but I don't believe much is going to happen with it, as the Warp Prism does get taken out. All right, Tempest and Zealots quickly find this Nexus at the 12 o'clock position. It will get destroyed. And what will be happening next? All of these probes now hiding back down over here. You can see more Tempests making their way out across the map. They do move relatively slowly. We can see that there are now 5 Tempests in play with the 6-1 on the way. Tempest taking a bit of a blast there, and this is why you have to be oh so careful. These Tempests want to deal a lot of damage, but they haven't really been able to do such. There is a blow, but the Tempests do attack relatively slowly. There is the attack. More Archons now warping in. Zealots now trying to pull back here as the Immortals are going after all of those Stalkers. Another Colossus gets taken down, and the Tempest reaching almost, or has reached critical mass in order to take down another Colossus. You can see now even more Tempest coming in, and Squirtle is just losing Tempest after Tempest with that attack. So much damage dealt, and I believe Parting is just going to walk up the ramp here. There's the GG. Air Protoss, Tempest versus Tempest, as Squirtle loses this game to Parting here on Whirlwind. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.